Coming up next on Valley News Live at 10, navigating a household where parents are vaccinated and kids are not.
A chief medical examiner stands by his ruling on George Floyd's death, saying his death was a homicide.
Plus, what to do if you lose or damage your COVID vaccine card. Valley News Live at 10 starts right now.
This is Valley News Live at 10.
Safe to say that most of us are probably a little eager to get back to what life was like before the pandemic.
And it will be a while before kids can get the COVID vaccine. Valley News Team's Courtney Lockie explains what precautions fully vaccinated parents can take.
When it comes to the COVID vaccine, health experts say it's important to remember you're only as protected as the least protected person.
Places families in a precarious situation where parents may be vaccinated but kids are not.
The CDC says most kids who get COVID have mild symptoms or none at all, but some do get sick. They can also spread it.
Our case numbers are rising and a significant chunk of population is not vaccinated yet. So I don't think it would be fair to say that you can go back to normal.
CDC guidelines say vaccinated people can get together inside without masks. They can also gather with unvaccinated people from a single household as long as no one's at risk. And all outdoor activities are fine. Health officials are also giving domestic travel the green light.
It's always a great idea to use your best judgment.
Another factor health officials are weary about, more variants are spreading in the U.S.
Because many of the adults are vaccinated, we have seen an epidemiological shift in the spread of the virus. It's affecting more younger people and kids now.
Health officials say the vaccine could be available to kids by the end of summer. In Fargo, Courtney Lockie, Valley News Live.
We have more guidance from the CDC on our website. Just download the VNL News app. You can find this story on our homepage.
Supplies of the Johnson & Johnson vaccine will be limited for a while until federal regulators approve production at a manufacturing plant in Baltimore. However, the White House says the company has assured them they will reach their goal.
We've also been assured by Johnson & Johnson that they remain committed to meeting their contract of delivering 100 million doses by the end of May.
Johnson & Johnson was expected to deliver more than 4 million doses a week in April, but at most only a quarter of those could be shipped out to states this year.
And DSU students, faculty, and staff will soon have a chance to get a vaccine shot. A clinic is scheduled for Wednesday from 8 in the morning until 5 at night at the Sanford Health Athletic Complex. For information on how to sign up for an appointment, log on to our website, valleynewslive.com.
Walk-ins will be accepted at an upcoming vaccine clinic tomorrow, sponsored by Essentia. It'll be held at the St. Mary's Detroit Lakes facility. You can get a shot from 8:30 in the morning till 12:30 p.m. Now, if you have questions regarding which vaccine to get or where to go, use our VNL vaccine tracker to sort through them. It's right on the home page of our website. Or you can open your phone camera, point it to the QR code on your screen, then tap the link that pops up.
After you've had your COVID-19 shots, it's a good idea to take care of that 4 by 3 inch slip of paper they give you. Some people are opting to have theirs laminated, but that could lead to problems. For one Minnesota woman whose husband took it in, the lamination turned the sticker label with her name on it black.
So he took the card and off he went and came home and said, well, do you want to know the good news or the bad news? And then he showed me my card.
It's a good idea to take a picture of your card front and back as a digital backup and to keep the card with your medical records in a safe place. And if you're going to post your card online, cover up your private information like your date of birth. If you ruin or lose your card, don't panic. The state keeps track, so that paper card isn't the only record.
A lot of questions tonight surrounding plans for a peaceful White Lives Matter protest this weekend locally. Similar marches are slated at other cities for Sunday at 1 p.m. and some reports state that they're being coordinated by extremists online. Fargo's rally has prompted the local Black Lives Matter chapter and others to plan a counter-protest Sunday afternoon, saying racism isn't welcome in the Red River Valley.
We just need to let these folks know that this is not tolerated.
I just feel like white people have never been oppressed, so I feel like it's a pointless rally to have. I mean, I don't know what they're trying to prove.
Police say that they respect the right to peacefully assemble and they're prepared to work with the community to keep residents safe. They say at this time there will not be extra police presence or extra officers patrolling the area on Sunday. And if you need help uncovering any issue in your community, call our whistleblower hotline. We'll do our best to get to the bottom of it. Call 701-237-6576 and leave your tip.
I don't normally photograph organs that appear to be perfectly normal unless there's some reason to. I don't have a photograph of Mr. Floyd's spleen or Mr. Floyd's liver either because those were also grossly normal. His heart was enlarged by weight, but that wouldn't really be something you could capture in a photograph. And Mr. Floyd's lungs were quite edematous, meaning they had a lot of fluid and congestion in them, but other than that, they were generally normal postmortem lungs.
Heart disease and the use of fentanyl contributed to George Floyd's death. That's what the chief medical examiner said in court today as testimony wrapped up for the second week of former Minneapolis police officer Derek Chauvin's trial. But the medical examiner says police restraint is the primary reason Floyd died last May. Daryl Forges is in Minneapolis with the latest.
He's one of the most anticipated witnesses in Derek Chauvin's trial.
You conducted the autopsy on Mr. George Floyd.
I did.
The Hennepin County chief medical examiner says police interaction was the main cause of George Floyd's death.
The law enforcement subdual restraint and the neck compression was just more than Mr. Floyd could take.
Forensic pathologist Dr. Lindsay Thomas agrees.
There's no evidence to suggest he would have died that night, except for the interactions with law enforcement.
The testimony comes as the state nears the end of his case against Chauvin. Prosecutors argued the former police officer violated policy and used excessive force on Floyd. But Chauvin's defense points to drugs and a heart condition as reasons for Floyd's death.
And so in your opinion, both the heart disease as well as the history of hypertension and the drugs that were in his system played a role in Mr. Floyd's death?
In my opinion, yes.
Still, Dr. Baker stands by what he originally wrote on Floyd's death certificate.
Yes, I would still classify it as a homicide today.
Chauvin has pleaded not guilty to the charges against him. Testimony is expected to resume Monday. In Minneapolis, Daryl Forges, Valley News Live.
Chauvin, who was seen in disturbing videos kneeling on Floyd's neck for more than 9 minutes, is charged with second-degree murder, third-degree murder, and second-degree manslaughter. If convicted of the most serious charge, he could face up to 40 years in prison. Federal prosecutors now have permission to offer plea deals in some of the cases related to the Capitol riot. More than 350 people are charged for the breach. Many of their defense attorneys concede video evidence like this would make it hard to defend their clients in a trial. Attorneys say it's unclear who will get the deals, but so far they appear aimed at misdemeanors.
The White House has established a commission to study the Supreme Court. It won't make final recommendations for reform, but will analyze arguments for and against Supreme Court reform, examining matters like term limits for justices, changing the size of the court, and changing case selection rules and practices. The commission is expected to begin holding public hearings in upcoming weeks and report back to the president in 6 months. President Joe Biden has asked Congress for $769 billion in non-defense spending. That's a 16% increase from former President Trump's last budget. Biden's discretionary request also includes $753 billion for national defense. The White House will send a full budget to Congress later this spring, but this request allows Congress to begin its appropriations process in the meantime. Congress is also beginning to consider Biden's $2.3 trillion infrastructure and jobs package.
The firefighting battle at Theodore Roosevelt National Park's North Unit continues as the wind has picked up out west. Officials report the fire is 70% contained. The best news may be that there was no new growth overnight. Firefighters say the back burning used to remove fuel is necessary to stop it from getting out of control.
If it were to start up again, they want all those fuels gone between where the fire started and the river. And the reason because is it jumped the river. If it got started, we don't know if we'd be able to get it stopped.
About 5,000 acres have burned and some parts of the park remain closed.
I don't think that you're ever too old to live your best life. And with memory care, long-term memory is the last to go.
Still ahead tonight on Valley News Live at 10, a North Dakota Memory Care Center is finding ways to celebrate living every day.
Up next, what we get to enjoy when it comes to weather this weekend. Nathan is in to explain next.